Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And in fact, we have some breaking news coming in that we need to address right here on Startup Central. This is about Meta and Cred. Well, in a mega move, Meta has roped in Cred founder Kunal Shah to lead the next leg of growth at WhatsApp. He's going to be the global lead for WhatsApp, and this announcement was made by Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, the company will also be investing 8,500 crores, that is nearly $900 million in Cred. So that's a massive win coming in for Cred's Kunal Shah. Not just that his company is, of course, fundraising from none other than Meta, but he's also going to be leading the global operations, the global function for Meta as well. And in fact, announcing the development, Mark Zuckerberg also said that Shah brings the kind of builder mentality and global perspective that will serve him well in running for the world's biggest messaging app. Kunal also announced that while Meta comes in as a minority investor in Cred, it will not have access to member data. He also announced that Mithun Sampath is going to lead and take over as interim CEO. To discuss these very, very hectic and latest developments with respect to these two companies in the space of technology, I'm now joined by Prabhu Ram. He's the Vice President, Industry Research Group, Cyber Media Group, Media Research. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for taking the time out. I'm sure that you are still sort of sifting through the statements that both the companies have sort of released. Kunal has also released a separate statement. First things first, this is massive, not just because of the fact that Kunal Shah is going to lead the global office for WhatsApp, but the fact is also that his company has raised a massive check from Meta.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Really appreciate, and always pleasure to talk to you as well. It's a pivotal moment for both the companies as such. Cred has much more to gain here, as well as the fact that Meta, Meta is trying to make inroads into India and especially the payments landscape here. And that's where there are synergies which would really work for both the parties involved. It's still breaking news, and I'm just making a sense of all of it. But at a very clear indicator that Kunal would play a big role in making sure that Meta is able to make inroads into the payments part of it.
Right, probably also have to talk about the fact that India remains a priority market for Meta, because just very recently, in the past couple of days, we did see an announcement that Meta made in conjunction with Reliance. This was with respect to data centers and AI. And this time around, it is hiring an Indian national for a global role. What does that really say about what Meta is thinking as far as WhatsApp for India is concerned? And how does Meta really plan on scaling up this opportunity here in India?
When you look at it, India is the linchpin for future growth strategies as such. We have the largest consumer demographic, a young demographic as such, and there is much more innovation coming out of India as well. And given all of that, when you look at attaining growth and really making inroads, India becomes very critical for Meta as such. All of the moves that you have seen in the recent past add up to that. And as I mentioned, Kunal's appointment is especially important given the background that he has and all of the experience that he brings forth. And that would enable Meta to make inroads into the very hotly contested payments landscape as such.
Right, Prabhu, let me also sort of ask you about Cred, given the fact that it has raised $900 million from Meta. This is a Series H round. And in fact, with that, the valuation post-money of the company goes to $4.5 billion. What does this essentially mean for Cred now that we're going to be seeing a different person who's going to be in charge, who's going to be helming the company? But where do you see growth coming in for the company, especially when we talk about the company's growth trajectory?
So even though there is a new person coming to the helm, but it's not really new. It's someone who is very much has been closely aligned with Cred's growth as such. And I would seriously look for the synergies that Meta and Cred have in terms of how Cred would take up the future pathways as such. It's still quite early for me to definitively say in terms of how this would all pan out for Cred. but it's a big boost, for now as such.
It's a big boost for Kunal Shah and, of course, his company. But let me also ask you, Prabhu, since this has happened when a trade team from the United States is here in India, and of course, over the past many months, we have seen the deepening of the partnership between United States and India, particularly with respect to tech. Well, tech has been an important angle. Pax Silica is something that we are part of. And of course, this has been stated by representatives from the US government multiple times. Should this be read as deepening of the tech partnership? Because here you have a big tech company from America sort of making that big bet in an Indian startup. And remember, we also did hear from Ambassador Sergio Gore as well, from other members of the United States government leadership, about how many companies are looking at investing in India. And we did see Indian companies invest close to $2 billion sometime in the month of May.
Yeah, it just speaks volumes about where we are as a nation and the market that India represents right now. It's too hard to ignore. And that's where you will see much more momentum going forward in terms of investments coming in as such. Again, the fact that we have one of the largest growing digital consumer markets, that adds more value, as well as the fact that we have a technology base that really brings forth the latest in terms of tech innovation as such. Given that this is over the course of the next decade, you would see much more momentum for India as such. And that's irrespective of all of the developments that we are seeing in terms of trade. And I'm very optimistic about those also getting sorted as we speak.
Absolutely, you are optimistic, and so are we, Prabhu. But thank you very much for taking the time out and speaking to us here on ET Now. It's a big moment for an Indian tech executive, for an Indian startup, of course, to be funded by a global big tech company. And of course, an Indian is going to lead a global operation. He's going to lead the global team for WhatsApp, for a Meta. And this is one story that we'll be very closely watching. But thank you very much for the moment, for your inputs and sharing your thoughts and perspectives on this developing story right here on ET Now.
Thank you for having me. Really pleasure always speaking to you.